Hi, this is Sean O'Toole with Foreclosure Radar's California Foreclosure Report for June 2010. Foreclosure filings were up this month after foreclosure activity was down across the board in May. Notices of default up 6.74%, but down 45% year over year. This is largely because last year lenders were making up for a delay imposed by the California State Senate. Notices of trustee sale up 22% and to 34,261. Now note that that's more than the 25,790 notices of default. This is very unusual. Historically, notices of trustee sale are only a percentage of notices of default. That's because not everybody that goes into notices of default moves on to the next stage. We're in a different world right now. What we're seeing instead is we're seeing a lot of notices of trustee sale canceled and then coming back again. And one reason may be a loan modification failed and they're coming back and restarting the foreclosure process, and the lender does not have to start back over at the notice of default. Now looking at the foreclosure outcomes, foreclosure sales were way down this month. The number of properties going back to the bank down 23, almost 24% to 10,506. The number of properties being sold to third parties, primarily investors, down almost 27% to 2,983. Now, big drop in that sold to third party numbers, but it's about the same percentage that they bought the previous month. Bigger story here on the foreclosure outcomes, though, is the number of foreclosures that canceled, up 27% to almost 22,000. What's interesting here is it's almost all from one lender, JP Morgan Chase, WAMU, which is part of JP Morgan now. So not sure what's going on there. They may be aggressively pursuing short sales or putting people into HOFA, which is the alternative to foreclosure alternatives, but their cancellations are way up. Most of the lenders fairly flat on cancellations. Pre-foreclosure inventories rose for the first time in a number of months, up 8.86% to roughly 157,000 properties in pre-foreclosure at this time. Now it rose for two reasons. Notices of default were up, but also the length of time properties stayed in pre-foreclosure increased, which is how we estimate that number. Now those properties scheduled for sale down just slightly, right? Notices of trustee sale were up, but so were cancellations. The two kind of offset each other. Those scheduled for sale, though, up year over year, 15%, starting to rise back up again. Bank-owned properties down 5%. They sold quite a few more properties this last month, almost 4,000 more properties than they took back at the courthouse steps, thanks to the big drop in the number of properties going back to the bank. Now looking at the discounts at auctions, third parties saw fewer deals last month, but for those deals that they did get, a little bit better margins. The discount increased to 18.9%, almost 19%, up from 16.3% last month. That's from market value. Those going back to the bank, on average, have an opening bid 29% above market value, which is why nobody down at the auction's bidding, and those are all going back to the bank. The 18.9% discount is the highest discount investors have seen this year and for some time. Now let's wrap up by looking at foreclosure timeframes. Time to foreclose down just slightly, 234 days right now, fairly flat there. Time to resell for the banks up 6% to 267 days, and time to resell for third parties up also 4.29% to 170 days. This has been continually increasing for some time, kind of end October of last year, 130 days for third parties to resell a property versus 170 days now. A lot of talk right now about the market softening a little bit harder to flip properties, and that is evidenced here by the time that it takes to resell increasing a bit. This is Sean O'Toole with Foreclosure Radar's California Foreclosure Report for June 2010. Thanks for watching.